We've been talking about divorce. There's been no divorce between the Everly brothers, but we've got one here now. Will you welcome Mr. Phil Everly?
It's a lesson too late for the learning, made of sand, made of sand. In the wink of an eye, my soul is turning in your hand, in your hand. Are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be not a trace of goodbye? I could have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. Underneath my feet the subway's rumbling, underground, underground. In my mind, my thoughts, they are tumbling round and round, round and round. Are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be not a trace of goodbye? I could have loved you better, I didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. You know that was the last thing on my mind.
Great to see you. Welcome back with Connie Stevens and Phil Everly, whom you can see every Wednesday at 9, right?
Right.
Replacing the craft music.
No, Johnny
replacing
Cash.
Johnny Cash, because
It's
on
called
ABC.
Johnny Cash Presents the Everly Brothers.
Presents the Everly Brothers.
We're very happy about it.
And you
I
just,
am too. I'm their biggest fan.
well, it's terrific for you to be here then. But I hear you were all talking about the subjects we've just been discussing. Is that
Oh,
right?
yeah. We were downstairs discussing it because I'm going through that too. I'm going through it. I'm in the middle of all that. You know, divorce. Laughingly.
How old's your son?
3.5, yeah.
3.5.
I have the most beautiful son, I think.
No, it's all right. Connie's got two daughters.
My son is the most beautiful son in the world, you know, really.
Tell us about it.
Well,
What's his name?
Jason, Philip Jason. We call him Jason.
Why didn't you call him Philip? Because
Why
your
didn't-
father was called Phil, wasn't
No, his father was called Phil. And
Yeah.
That's why we call him Philip Jason. And we call him Jason, though, you know. And he's really something. He's got hair the color of, if you were to have hair, it's the color of sunshine. It really is, you know, gold, and it's beautiful. He's really something.
he? It's terrific talking about it. But you also, in addition to all of the music thing, which I want to come back to. Well, no, in fact, let's go straight into it, because I'm fascinated. How many records have you sold altogether, do you think?
Don and I have sold, the last time they ran a count, it was like 35, a little over 35 million. And we hope to sell 2 or 3 more. And, you know, but...
Which one sold the most?
In the United States, Wake Up Little Susie, which is a long time ago, sold for a little over 2 million. But worldwide, Kathy's Clown, which is a song Don and I wrote, was the biggest.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you get into it all in the first place?
Our mother and father were in show business, and they were in a family show. and we started in radio, and we just kind of grew up in it. I was 6 and Don was 8. We were real little, and it's been 25 years now. Yeah, that's right. It's been 25 years.
How when you were 6 or so, did you perform for audiences and things?
Well, we were on live radio. It's an ancient art that's since died. And we used to do early morning family, like a radio show. And we do, we'd perform for the farmers in the Midwest a lot. It was on the radio. And they'd milk their cow and listen to the Everly family sing, about this, that, and the other.
What sort of songs did you sing?
I don't know if they were contented or not.
What sort of songs did you sing?
Anything. Mostly country and western gospel. I saw the light, and we meant it was the sun coming up, things like that.
Oh, gospel. I love gospel music.
Yes.
Terrific music.
Actually, David, I don't know whether the people are aware of this, but the Everly Boys are really kind of pioneers. If you look back on it, they probably did more for rock and roll. In fact, real and the country feel than any other artist, including Elvis Presley. They were around.
Thanks, Connie.
It happens to be true. Elvis did the thing,
Yeah, he said it. Elvis made all that.
Yeah, made it all happen. But they were among the first, and it's nice to see them being appreciated now. Again, the second time around.
Do you find you have to be very different today in singing, or can you use the same? I mean, do you find the audience is different now to 5 or 10 years ago?
I think it's better. I think an audience is people are brighter with what they listen to, and they listen with more of an open mind. In the beginning, it was difficult because they really thought that your main trade was the hubcap business, and that you did, the music as a cover. So you drove to the show, and then you got to steal their hubcaps during intermission. Some of us may have done it. I don't know. I didn't have sense enough to, but it had a respectability. Now it has a respectability, I think, that it didn't have in the beginning.
I read in one of your biographies, Phil, that you go a lot to swap meets, and I don't know what they are.
Oh, I have in my divorce, I managed to drive off with one of the cars, and it's a 32 Packard, you see, which is my love, and I drive it around. And on weekends, I go to swap meets when I have time.
What is a swap meet?
Well,
I've never been to one.
No? It's an experience and a half. It's an education. You go to, there's a big collection of people like me that really don't know what they're doing there either, but they've got bundles of junk and things that they'll have. You'll see anything. You can get, like I go for car parts sometimes, but you can trade things for like fruit jars and ketchup bottles made into candle holders and, all kinds of things like that. I've got rooms full of junk that that's no use for. I may start my own swap meets, try to trade it.
What's the best bargain you've ever got?
The best thing?
Yeah.
I got a watch fob one time that was really good.
A what?
A watch fob. It was French enamel. It was very, very good. I've got it there. That's it. So, it's a fob.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It is nice, isn't it?
What did you give away to get that?
It's 4 hubcaps to a Packard. And surprisingly enough, I didn't need those, so,
You're a great one for old cars, actually.
I love them, yeah.
Not just the hubcaps, but the whole
thing. The Packard I've got is just like, it's a little hard to explain it. You have to be a complete idiot or something crazy in some slight way to be driving one, but I drive it, and it's really nice. And I have a 32 Studebaker, too. I used to have a Cadillac. I like it. Yeah, they all run great. They run much better than... I've gone many a time and picked up friends with my car that have broken down in the modern...
And what's terrific about a 32 Studebaker?
The 32 Studebaker? Well, mine has the 32. The reason I really like a 32 is because I managed to get this under difficult stress because the man that owned the car had owned it from the beginning. In fact, I don't know if he knows I have it because I saw it in a parking lot. I do this lots of times. I drive badly, going this way and I'm looking for cars, old cars. And I pull in and I ask people, will you sell it, and things like that. But I saw this car in a parking lot in Hollywood, and it I'm a real bore with this, I must tell you, because I love them. But it had, wire wheels, and it had 2 wheels and the fenders, and it was a coupe, and it would just look rakish and look like I think you could put a jacket and a flatted fifth, in your pocket, and all. It could really be and say, with the 23 Skidoo, it had that kind of feeling to it. And I went and I asked the man, I said, who owns it? And this oldish man came out, and he looked at me, and I don't think he liked particularly what I stood for, whatever that was, because with hair, I had long hair, and I said, would you like to sell your car? And he said, no, and so I took that as a definite answer, and I left, but I went back again, and I asked him, and he said, no, I don't want to sell it to you, and with a few words that it would exchange, the last thing that he said was communist punk, and I left. I'm not feeling too good, so I said, because people that own cars all their life, are very funny about them. And he wanted it to go to a good home. Now, I would make a good home for it.
I believe you.
Restore it, repaint it, and everything. But he didn't believe it. So I think it was he was watching a lot of trouble was going on, with kids in the street and all. I think he just didn't like the way I looked. So I sent down 2 or 3 people, and by the time
short hair.
With short hair, honestly, with short hair. And the price kept going up, and it was me bidding against myself, because there was so many people. And it finally ended up that he got a very good price. But the man that bought it for me was a friend of mine that went down in a gas station attendant's outfit and looked like regular. He related somehow, and he got the car for me. I love it, yeah.
And it's turned out to be a bargain for you as well.
Well, sort of.
Are you mad about collecting anything like that, Connie?
I collect people.
I know we can get an old man.
I'm sure they're delighted to be collected, what's more. We'll take a break there. We'll be right back with Connie Stevens, Phil Everly, and Juliet Mills. Welcome back with Connie Stevens and Phil Everly, and welcome to join us now, direct from the Nanny and the Professor, will you welcome Miss Juliet Mills? Connie Stevens, Phil Everly. Juliet, welcome. Terrific to have you here.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure.
Really is. In fact, I was just thinking, of one thing that you share in common with Phil, and that is, now you are an elder daughter with a younger sister, Haley, right? Now,
yes.
Phil,
I'm the youngest.
You're the young, and Don is older.
Yes.
Right. You have fabulous family, of course, Juliet. Was there great rivalry between you and Haley, or?
Well, not really, because Haley started in films, and I started later than she did in the theatre. And we've never been up yet for the same part. There might be if we are, perhaps, but we never have. And I think she's great, anyway. And she thinks I'm great, so there's no rivalry.
That's true. Do you ever have any rivalry?
No, because we're always working together, except for tonight. We're always working together, and there's no...
Have you often done shows on your own, in fact?
Occasionally, sometimes. Now that we're with the series, we're more divided up, because we have to do more things.
But who does he feel, because he's older than you, that he should choose the songs or anything like that?
No, to sing them together, you both have to really want to do it.
Or one can satisfactorily screw it up.
Easily, if you really want to. But normally our tastes, our musical backgrounds is obviously the same, so our tastes are similar.
Mm. What do people who meet you expect, Phil? Do they expect you to sing to them, or what?
No, I don't think so. They usually expect for both of us to be here to start with, They expect you to be a pair.
Yeah.
And everything
You're
you
not
do.
really supposed to go out without it.
No, we get questions like, do you live together? I'm 31. Like I should be living with my brother. It doesn't make any sense, I got my own life. And things like that, they're funny kind of questions. Because you're brothers, because you work together, and they really think you're, you do all that.
You mentioned hair. Do people sort of concentrate on whether you should have a haircut and that sort of thing?
Yeah, there's, I was in Las Vegas, and Don and I were playing at the Landmark, and after the show was it was a bottlers convention. It brings up the story. Somebody said to me, I came out, as I came by, she said, enjoyed the show except I have one complaint, and I said, I really needed it that night, you need to hear a complaint. And I said, the show was too loud. She said, no. I said, too soft. She said, no. I said, too short, no. Too long, no. And I said, what was wrong? She said, you sounded much better when your hair was short. How do you deal with it? And so I gave her some snappy comeback, oh yeah.
Equipped.
Like that.
Hey, talking of the way you sound, if I was to say that I just noticed a guitar there, could that be an introduction to a song, do you think?
Yeah, I will gulp very loudly, but...
And in total amazement.
You'd think I'd never had one of these before. This song is about, it's a song Don and I recorded. I normally sing the high parts, so if I wander off into that direction, you'll understand why. Way down in Bowling Green, prettiest girls I've ever seen. A man in Kentucky sure is lucky to live down in Bowling Green. Bowling Green folks treat you kind. They let you think you're on mind. A man in Kentucky sure is lucky. In Bowling Green you walk your own line. Kentucky sunshine makes a heart unfurl, warms the body, and I know it touches the soul. Bluegrass is fine, Kentucky owns my mind. The fields down in Bowling Green have the softest grass I've ever seen. A man in Kentucky sure is lucky to lie down in Bowling Green. Kentucky sunshine makes the heart unfurl, warms the body, I know it touches the soul. Bluegrass is fine, Kentucky owns my mind. Bowling Green, Bowling Green, way down in Bowling Green.
Papa, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the festivities with the smashing Connie Stevens, Phil Everly and Juliet Mills. We were just talking about there, Juliet. Did you agree with what Connie was saying earlier on about marriage and
Yes,
so
I
on?
thought she was marvellous and put it all so well. I'm with you all the way and I'm getting that book.
What are you particularly with that she said?
Well, the thing of having to do your own thing when you're married, not lose yourself in your marriage. You have to, each one has to, I mean, it's a difficult thing, isn't it? I mean, two people who've never lived together, met maybe only a year or so ago, suddenly living together and doing everything together, never out of each other's sight, really. All the romance has to be kept there, but it's not all romantic. It's not being picked up on the doorstep and always looking pretty, is it? There's those awful days where you feel awful and you look awful and everything's awful.
You don't want to be bothered.
Yeah, I think...
What's the most difficult accommodation to make? Just not having any time alone, do you think? Or?
I don't know. I don't know the most difficult. I think you certainly need a great sense of humour a lot of the time and try not to let things get too dramatic. I don't know, in my case anyway, I think everything's a bit exaggerated and extreme, and sometimes little things become much more important than they really are. And I think you just have to be a bit grown up when you're married. I don't think I was quite grown up enough when I was married. And I'm calmer now. Things don't get me all... And the same as Connie was saying about, you know, the romance and... Well, she put it also well. I don't want to repeat it all.
No, but you weren't repeating it all. You were adding to... Do you agree with that, Phil?
Well, I don't know about, being your own self, but you have to be your own self at all times anyhow, in any kind of relationship, whether, married or not. But I don't know that being together all the time is a problem, because I was gone all the time.
Now we've got a new problem here, the problem of being gone all the time, right.
I don't know. It wasn't much of a problem for me, but that's what, you know, the kind of livelihood that's the profession I'm in, and it's difficult with, to do all that, I guess. It must put a hardship. So I don't know. There must be some happy medium in between the two.
A certain amount of travel.
You know, it's really funny, though, now that I'm no longer married, you know, and it reminds me of the times, I don't know if in every man's life, maybe married man's life, there is a time when he's laying there in bed, you know, looking up at the ceiling saying, I wonder what it'd be like to be single. I thought, well, now I'm trying to find out. It's just about like it was before, you know, when I was a kid. Yeah.
Women emotionally commit themselves much more. See, that's where they get tripped up. If you love, see, a woman's love gets deeper as the years go by.
I'm sure it's working, but we'll lose a bit more.
Don't you find that it grows in other dimensions and it keeps adding and adding, and they just don't have the same emotional commitment? Because, like you just said, gee, I don't know, it just didn't bother me that, you know, we weren't together and stuff. Whereas with a woman, all of a sudden, every year, that year is taken away from a woman, and a man is added on. You know what I mean? Do you follow me?
Fascinating. Yeah.
Because not only are they financially committed, their youth, their children, everything they build their life around. So every year that goes by is just that much more intense. And with a man, it's the opposite. He gets a little bit more relaxed. So that's where the rub comes. And I think that women have to find a way to combat that, you know. It's very difficult.
It would seem to me, though, that that would be actually a virtue, because as a woman, you know, as she loses, she should commit more to a husband, one would think, and the whole family unit. And that's what I always do. You know, a man sort of supports that whole thing.
Yes, but if a woman gets too committed, they become clingy vines, they become demanding, and the romance goes immediately like that.
I really think that the more that they're involved, the more they're concerned, the more they're all that. Honestly, I didn't have that.
I think you two should get together. I think
It's not a bad idea.
we'll all come to the wedding, won't we?